Talking about Mexican Independence Day, we can call this Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard it from the champion himself, knocking out the competition.
Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And like our guest today, professional boxing coach and barber. If you need a haircut, I mean, just go down. I got to make sure I get this right. In This Corner Cuts. Actually, our first segment is sponsored by In This Corner Cuts, because whatever you're doing, whether you're going to work, a quinceañera, in a wedding, a fight, you got to look good. You look good. You feel good. And like Rudy Cruz say, you knock people out good. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight, Rudy Cruz Jr. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Rudy.
Thank you for having me once again. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
Rudy, hey, the pleasure's all ours. I wanted to have you back on because I wanted to talk about these fights that we got coming up this Saturday. Arnold Barboza is taking on Jack Catterall. We were supposed to have the comeback of Regis Prograis, but he got injured and now he's sitting back. But the Golden Boy card is still going to take place, and we're going to talk about Duarte and his new opponent.
Okay.
And what did you think about David Benavidez and his victory? How did he look, and what did you think about his opponent? But before we get into all that, I want to talk about something that's really going to happen in Porterville, California, March 8th. Eagle Mountain Casino. It's Big Dog Bare Knuckle Boxing.
Yes.
It's a new promotion company. It's already starting to get momentum. A lot of people down north are talking about it. A lot of people down south are talking about it. But today on The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters, we're going to break it down, Rudy Cruz, because we're going to be working together and we're going to be able to cover some of those fights. But let's talk about bringing bare knuckle boxing to the Porterville area, which is our area, not too far from Fresno, Madera, California.
No. Oh, man. I can't wait. I'm happy that LeVar, stepped up and put something like this together. And I'm happy that Eagle Mountain joined on team, to go ahead and let it take place at their lovely venue. I'm excited, man. I know this is going to be brutal. I know it's going to be fun. And I'm excited and looking forward to working with you that night, man. That's going to be fun.
I'm looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, when we say LeVar, we know who LeVar is, but those of you who've been hiding under a rock and don't know the name, LeVar Big Johnson, UFC veteran. And I don't like to use the word former because once a world champion, I was a world champion, and also heavyweight champion of the world bare knuckle. And, he put all his talent inside of that ring, that cage, and he competed at the highest level, and he still holds that belt to this day, Rudy. So I don't like to say former world champion. I was told by a Hall of Famer, Lee Samuels, he said, Richard, once a champion, always a champion.
True. It's a moniker that you wear for the rest of your days.
And you know what? He's the face of the whole bare knuckle, big dog bare knuckle boxing. And I'm glad he's pushing this. And he's talked about it for a long time, Rudy. I know he's mentioned it, but now he's taking that step forward. He's taking action. I can't wait for this event.
I'm really excited, man. We got a lot of guys on the card from the Valley area. Some mountain area guys, from Oakhurst area and stuff like that, from what I'm understanding. A couple from the Los Angeles area are coming on down also. We're gonna have I think a pretty good event, man. Needless to say, there will be blood.
Hey, we're in the blood business. Shout out to Cutman Rodriguez, my buddy. He's a Cutman, and he said, "Hey, I'm in the blood business."
You're gonna bleed one way or another.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about some of those names. I'm hearing Cash. I'm hearing Billy Evangelista, JC Lawless. I mean, the list goes on, and it's whoever just wants to step up.
Man, these are some great people, man. I had the opportunity to work with and train with Billy for many of years. And same thing with Brandon Cash, same thing with Dominique Escamilla, who's also going to be on the card, So a lot of these guys are people that I have worked with in the past. And, it's going to be interesting, man. I have to take off the coach's jacket and, put on the commentator's jacket and just observe, But, I guess the way I got to look at it is as if I'm calling the fight is, as I would be giving advice, but not directly to the person. I'm giving you this direction and the people the direction.
These are all household names in our area. And these are all respected names, respected athletes who's been on top of the mountain, who's been down, picked themselves back up, put themselves back in on that saddle and competed and continue to compete at the highest level. And
Yes.
yes, you're right. There is going to be blood that night.
It's going to be interesting, man. Some this is going to be my first bare knuckle event, period. I've been looking forward to going to some, and now, I'm going to be that close, man. And, I know it's going to be brutal, man. And, this is one of the most old school forms of combat, and this is how it began, and little by little, you went from little tape here to a little pad on the knuckle to what we have current day. So, taking it back to the roots and starting it on a native reservation, man, that's a great thing, man. We all know our native people have dug down and fought their whole lives. So, they're warriors, man. And I believe we're going to have a couple from the tribe competing that night also.
You know what? If they haven't came up with a name, Bloodbath 1. I mean, and the list goes on because that's exactly what we're going to have. And speaking of bloodbath, I just got a text message right now. I got put in check. Mike Rodriguez, because I said Rodriguez, my buddy, cut man. He said, Richard, we've had dinner together. I've took you here. I've took you there. We've commentated together. I've been on the show numerous times. He's been on PBC. He was the cut man of Manny Pacquiao. And he says, you're going to just say Rodriguez? Shout out to Mike Rodriguez. Down below, brother.
There we go, Mike.
It's all
nice,
good, man.
nice. So, man, back to what the one of the questions you asked me about the Benavidez fight.
Yes.
Yes. I see a lot of people giving Benavidez a lot of kind of flack, for not finishing Morrell and how he looked against him, and I tell for only having 11 fights. But I was telling everybody, hey man, you gotta understand, these guys have a couple hundred amateur fights, man. 100, 150, 200 minimum, and that's a lot of experience to bring into the ring. They also have to remember that Lomachenko got his world title on his second or his third fight, and the guy had 300. What was he like? 295-1 or something like that. It's just a ridiculous record. So the IQ they're bringing in, it's many years of knowledge that they're putting out. So you can't just look at Dave Morrell and just think, well, he had 11 fights and he dropped, but Benavidez, Canelo's going to eat him up. So it's just I still see work Benavidez has to do. But I mean, he's a strong young fighter, and I'm a fan. I like to see him go places.
Yeah, let's not forget Leon Spinks when he fought Muhammad Ali. He had like 12 fights, 13 fights. I'm not sure exactly how many fights he had, and he shocked the world. One thing I will say, David Benavidez is he's a student. He continues to impress us. He continues to learn. Mm-hmm. He was using that jab to pull down the guard and drop that right hand. Yeah, from Fernando Vargas, got that back in the day from Robert Garcia's father, who was training him back in the day, and he used it. He was telling everybody, "Hey, did you guys like that?" Which means he cares about what we think, Rudy, because he wants to excite the crowd. He wants to bring boxing back to the way it was and is today. Make it exciting, make it eventful, and continue to learn and show those attributes day of the fight.
Day in and day out, man. You have to. There's a crowd pleasing appeal, that he brings, and you have to appease to what the people want. I appreciate both sides of it. I like seeing a nice, solid, chess match of boxing. I appreciate the form of it, but I who doesn't like a nice, good, throwdown here and there, man. Absolutely. And he comes to fight. I think David, he talked to Andre Ward. David did a couple weeks back, and they did a little interview kind of thing. And, Andre was telling him, everything will be a lot easier if you just, work on that left hand more, to use the jab. And, it's nothing to Andre Ward. I love him. But Andre was more of a boxer style. Benavidez wants to fight you. He wants to make you fight him. And in any boxing match, a fight can break out if the boxer lets it happen. If he keeps on staying in his composure and using what he knows, it stays at what he is. But sometimes some fighters make you fight them, you know, and if you can't fight them off of you, that's going to be a problem.
It is going to be a problem. I mean, when you say can't fight them off of you, I'm thinking about Sean Porter all day long. He stays in your chest and just lets his
That was a
hands
good
go.
one.
It's not pretty boxing, but he is going to force you to fight. You signed up to fight. You're not going to have a chess match with him. You just see what you get. He's going to be in your chest, battle, first battle to the last battle, unless he gets you out of there.
You know, I Sean Porter. It's a great name that you bring up. I saw him working with Connor Ban, sparring him and showing him some tips here and there, and you know, it makes me wonder if Porter gets that itch every once in a while, you know, to get back on in there and see what because I truly don't think he was done. Maybe he was a little tired, you know, from the constant grind of it. Maybe taking a good 8 months to a year off, and you know, coming on back slowly and getting himself right back in there. But you know, only he knows. You know, only he truly knows, man. I have a view on it, and his body, you know, says something different. You know, so whatever it is, you know, it's just interesting to see him working with Ben. You know, I bet you those two sparring, man, are just like two goats colliding. You know what I mean? Smacking heads again and again.
I agree. And, you know, actually his father made that decision to stop the fight, and there was no argument from Sean. But I will say this, and I'll say it on air. Robert Garcia said it himself. He said, Richard, if you talk to Sean Porter and he gets that itch again and he doesn't want to work for whatever reason with Pops, bring him over here. I'll work with him. And, you know, big congratulations, Robert Garcia, Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year. Big shout out. They're going to find a new location March 8th. Robert Garcia is moving his gym and expanding it into a big, beautiful facility, state of the art. And he's doing big things, Rudy. I mean, he's doing big things in the sport of boxing.
That's awesome, man. That's been a guy that's been around for years. You know, I remember watching him when him and Oscar were kind of coming up around the same time. You know, yeah. I mean, he put up a lot of good fights, man, and you know, it's good to see the generational thing happening because of his dad now to him, and he worked with, you know, Fernando and oh my God, I'm the other Garcia. Mikey Garcia. Mikey.
Works with his brother Mikey.
Yeah, and, so you know, it's great to see him get his.
He even worked with AJ. He even worked with AJ. You know, there wasn't really enough time, but just being him in the corner. Just AJ walking out of that first battle, just knowing who he has in his corner has to build your confidence. So,
man, you know, when you know you got an A team, yeah, you know, when you have an A team behind you, man, you know, I've seen it from the coaches that I was able to work with that were with the people. You know, you see a certain extra when you look back and you know you have some OGs behind you, man. You know, that have gotten many of rounds of championship experience and have been on the highs and the lows and. Knowing what to say, when to say it at the right time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And, you know, we brought up Robert. Now this kind of transition over. And I know I'll get some text messages and say, okay. But hey, I get it's the sport of boxing. Let's now transfer over to Arnold Barboza. He got this opportunity, Jack Catterall, because he defeated Jose Ramirez, who was also a pupil of Robert Garcia. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the way Arnold Barboza looked, and where does Jose Ramirez go from here? And I believe I told you, even though he took the loss, does not put him in a bad place because he still had that Regis Pro gray name, running back with Josh Taylor. And what did he do? He got a call from Devin Haney. But before I spill into it, what did you think about the matchup and how creative boxing is? Barboza gets a big opportunity, and so does Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, you know, obviously, really nobody came out a loser. You know, when you say it like that, you know, both guys ended up getting good olive branches and roads, you know, their way, so that way they can keep on going forward, man, in the sport of boxing. But back to what you were saying about that fight, it was very, very competitive. It was a really good fight, I liked it. Arnold's slick, man. You know, he can box and he can fight, and you know, he just got off a little quicker, you know, and when the moments he needed to win him, you know, he won the exchanges when he needed to win them. And you know, it's sometimes, man, you know, it just depends on what what judge is looking at what, but I went with the right side with it on Barboza. I thought he won the fight also. But I mean,
All right. Yeah.
they're gonna be both. You know, they're good roads, man. I can't wait to see the Haney matchup. I think I think Jose gives him a lot more problems than people think. And you know, when you look at Haney's confidence is going to be the strongest, you know, coming off of this last fight. And I don't care what anybody says, you know, I don't think his confidence is very high. And if Jose can get in there and crack him with a few good shots early, you know,
Early.
set the pace, stay in his chest. You know you're going to get jabbed. You know that's coming. You
The
know, so
stick's
work.
coming all day long.
Yeah,
That's their whole game plan.
work on the timing of it to try to counter over it, man. And you know, can the flaws of what Ryan Garcia exposed be worked on and fixed this short? I don't know, man, because those are habits that have been there since a child, you know, and they were never truly rounded off and smoothed over the years, you know. And if you go back and you look at Devin Haney in his third pro fight, he's still doing the bow and arrow effect of raising that right arm when he jabs. So I don't know if it's going to be able to do that. And Jose's got a nice left hook, as we all know. You know, the one thing I don't want Jose to really do is just try to jab with him. You know, he's got to get in there and work his body. You know, you're going to take a few shots. You know, don't stay in that center pocket too much. Work the body and come with the overhand rights and the hooks because, you know, Haney's vulnerable to getting hit in exchanges. We see Leonar's when he hurt him that one time, you know, with a couple of good combinations at the end of the round. And the world saw what Garcia was doing. So, I mean, I think Jose can win this fight, man. I honestly do. I know I'm might be one of the few that are saying that, but styles make fights, man. And if he can make this turn into a fight more than a boxing match, I don't know if Haney's, you know, I don't know if his confidence is where it needs to be right now.
Well, Rudy, you said that, and I'm going to take that clip out and I'm going to tag Jose with it because he knows he has true supporters and believers in him. It's going to listen. I don't see him winning a decision. Don't be surprised. Jose's too nice of a guy. He got to get in there. Don't be surprised if they take a point away from Jose. Stop him. Hit the hips. Do what you got to do. Make it ugly where his hands come down, where you can work the body. Then you can land your big shots. Or if not, you're going to be chasing. You're going to be in the back of that stick all day, and then the right hand's coming. But Jose is very smart. A lot of people overlook his boxing IQ. They forget Jose's been an Olympian.
Yeah.
He's had plenty of fights, plenty of experience.
Yeah.
And if anybody can do it, it's the IQ of Jose and that determination to prove everybody wrong. And at the same time, Devin Haney's trying to just erase all that Garcia business is what he says. But Ryan exposed him to the world. He tricked us all. Ryan
He did.
I didn't even know if he was serious or not. But when that first bell rang, he was all about business. I want to see how much of a mental damage it caused Devin Haney. When I say that, it's because once you lose like that, Rudy, whether they want to investigate what have you, it still does something to you mentally.
Yeah,
it does. It's disturbing almost.
And you know, with the whole court situation and you know the way that everybody's viewed it, you know, the memes that are on the internet of him hating the pads and the little baby squeaky toy sound comes on it, and you know, to him, you know, swinging on that guy, you know, at the fair, you know, that he was at, and then, you know, missing him and then walking away, you know, it's just. I don't know. I don't know if his confidence is high or his dad is, you know, I don't know if his confidence is cured, you know, and if it's his dad pushing him, selling an image that he don't want to let his father down on. And push comes to shove, man. I think if Jose gets in his chest, man, and you know, does the right things, I you know, we're going to see exactly where, you know, Devin Haney's heart and head is at, you know, because, the lawsuit could have just been all smoke to go try to mess with Ryan, but I mean, it didn't benefit. You know, if you're a manager, you know, and a father, you want to benefit your son in every which way you can, and by doing the lawsuit the way he did, and of course, you know, Ryan did counter with his own lawsuit. You know, but that's the way court and legal things go, and they battle. That's what happens. But I mean, Ryan didn't initiate the lawsuit. It's just a counter lawsuit, and that's just the business, you know, nature of that beast. But I don't think the lawsuit, even bring it to as far as it did, man, was unnecessary. It was unfortunate as well, the way it ended, because I don't like it, but it is what it is. He's serving his suspension. I just hope Ryan Garcia's head gets in the right space, man, and comes back. And I don't think he was all the way there, but he was all business for the last fight.
I agree with you. He's
But
definitely was in the public eye.
oh man, yeah, yeah. And if he imagine if we get a Ryan that's all in, 100% training, physically, mentally sharp on his dial, man, at 147, because they're not going to do it at 40 or 43 any longer.
No.
So that gives these young boys who are growing a chance to fill into a better weight division for themselves. And who knows, man, Devin Haney just, he might be able to take a punch better at 47 than he did at 140. But I don't even know what weight is Haney fighting at.
They're going to meet at 144 pounds.
Okay.
Jose
Okay.
and Devin Haney, they're going to meet at 144 pounds. And Rolly's expected for Ryan to miss weight, and he'll accommodate him by just, doing what he's doing. So that's still a matchup. They're supposed to fight each other. Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia run it back, but they got some business to take care of. That's one hell of a card. Ryan Garcia and Rolly in the main event, and then a co-main event, Devin Haney against Jose Ramirez. Man, it's just boxing has some great matchups, and I'm thinking there's a great possibility, if not one, both men could be upset.
Man, I'm right there with you. I can't disagree on that, man. And one thing I wanted to ask you is, did you get a chance to see the fight of the year a couple weeks ago?
Fight of the year. Oh, okay, well, which one are we talking about?
The Pitbull fight.
Oh, okay. That was one that I wanted to talk to you about too. Listen, this guy showed a lot of gut by getting hit. Adversity. Every fighter, to be great, every fighter needs to face adversity to show the world I'm not just offense. Yeah, I got a chin. When I'm pushed up against the ropes, I can fight off the ropes, and I can show everybody I could come out of these wars victorious. I would love to see them run it back again.
Oh, that was a great one.
Boxing at its finest. I agree with you. Great fight.
We don't get those very often, but when we do, it's magic, man. And that could have been the main event of the night. That could have took the main event of the night, man. And man, just explosive from the very opening 10 seconds of the fight, man, to the end of it. Yeah. It was just, I was just, the whole time just covering man, because it was just, these guys were just beating on each other.
Well, Rudy, that's how much respect Isaac Cruz had for his opponent. He said, hey, Sean Gibbs, his manager, who's the manager of Manny Pacquiao, said, get me off this poster with him and Ryan Garcia. Yeah. My focus is my opponent right in front of me. This guy brings everything to the table. I don't have an easy step in. And sure enough, he focused and he came out victorious. He knew he was not going to overlook him at all. So he didn't want anything to distract him. He knew what war he was expected to be in, and he came out victorious.
Both of those guys tied their boots up and went to work, man. They laced up those boots, man, and put their hard hat on, and they gave us a nice, entertaining bout, man. Boxing's been delivering, lately. And there's some good matchups we got coming up, man. On top of that Clarissa Shields fight that was on a Sunday night, last Sunday.
Right. That was a good fight. It was a good matchup. Fought the bigger girl. The girl was ranging. I thought she wasted a lot of energy, like just, moving around too much instead of letting her hands go. But that was her style. That's the way she was able in her mind to offset Clarissa. But Clarissa, she's in a class by herself.
That's yeah. It's that generational stuff, I mean, not even, I don't even know, not even generational. I mean, Layla, had her run, but I don't think, and it's nothing to shade Layla at all, but I don't think that women's boxing is sharp as it is today and is competitive. And nothing to the ladies of the past, man. I don't want to disrespect the ladies of the past. Everybody has set a certain tone, but it's just like everything else, man. Any other sport, you get to finding out, there's certain levels to things, and the ladies in the sport of boxing have raised their bar, so high that it's amazing. It's amazing to watch, man. I for one, I wouldn't mind them going 3 rounds. I mean, 3 minutes, per
Yeah,
round.
I agree because it's actually kind of too short. Let them go. I think they can. I think
I
they're more
believe I
athletic
believe so.
today. Yeah, because you talked about Layla Ali. She didn't have the opposition Calista Shields has. She
Yes,
had Wolf. That fight never happened.
never
Yeah,
happened.
Christian Martin who opened the door for women's boxing. Mia
Yes,
St. John, and let's not forget about Fresno's own Jennifer Alcorn.
Jennifer
I
Alcorn.
mean, but now today you have it stacked in the women's division, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
getting the respect that it's well the ladies that have paved the way. Now these ladies they're making a good run at women's boxing, not just women's boxing, but the sport of boxing in general.
hmm It's just like the Katie Taylor and
Oh yeah,
oh my goodness, I'm freezing on the other
yeah,
name. With they fought on the Tyson Paul undercard. What was the
yeah. They ran
Serrano,
it
Amanda
back.
Serrano?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh my
mean,
God,
my goodness, man, they
did you
that's
see
top
that cut
echelon.
and still fought through it? I mean, these girls, man.
Yeah, that's world class entertainment, and skill set. And it's been happening more and more, man. And I'm happy to see it, But I do think they should be going to 3 minutes. Um, that the 2 minutes are for the amateurs, and
Yeah.
I, it's time. It's time. It's time, man. And I can't wait to see what the future holds for the sport of not just boxing but women's boxing at the same time.
That's a question I want to ask the trainer slash husband of McCatskill, who was
Okay.
the she. Well, I don't like. See, how do you say former? She was once she was undisputed champion of the world. So I don't say was. She's still in the boxing game. So I don't. You really like to use former. Some people take it out of context, what have you. But Jessica McCatskill, man, I mean, she has some hands. Great commentator too for DAZN. But when it comes to smashing people, man, she'll sit there with some grit. And really, the list goes on, man. As far as
Yeah.
ladies in the MMA world, the boxing world, and they deserve their opportunity. They deserve their flowers, literally. But I would love to see them go 3 rounds.
3 minutes.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
right there
yes.
with you,
There you
man.
go again. 3 minute
I'm right there.
rounds.
I'm right there with you, man. It's deserving. If they're fighting at this level, give them the opportunity to show their true skills. I don't mind seeing it.
Well, what I do want to see is I'm looking forward to this fight this Saturday is Arnold Barboza and Jack Catterall. That is going to be a scrap. I love what Arnold said. He said, you know what, man? Person that wants to be a world champion, they're willing to go all over the world. He says, well, I'm here today. He said, your ass can't even leave your country. He goes, come down to LA. Come down and fight us over here. But no, I'm here because I'm here telling you that I'm going to beat you. I'm going to be victorious. And I'm going to get that mandatory shot against Teofimo Lopez and be the uncrowned world champion of the world. I love his mentality. I love where he's at today. I don't think it's all hype. I truly mean I believe he truly means it. Me and
Mm-hmm.
Arnold had several conversations leading up to the Ramirez fight. Jose Arnold was another opponent that was in the top 10. Arnold has been breaking him down forever. Knows the way he walks, what colognes he's wearing, what kind of shoes does he like, what's his favorite sport, what's his favorite. When you have a person obsessed like that with you, they're comfortable. So whatever you throw at him, there's nothing new. Arnold still has that, it's cliche, that eye of the tiger going into this fight. So
It's
I
like
believe he's up for a tough road, Rudy, but I think he can pull it off. I know he can pull it off.
it's like studying for a test in school. When you've done all your homework and you've read the book over and over and you're confident on your approach. You
Yeah.
know the answers before you're done reading them. That's the part of game planning and studying and being obsessed with something. And Barbosa, man, he's got the qualities. Those are the things it takes. Sometimes champions are crazy. And it takes a little extra, man, a little spice of something that the normal everyday person doesn't have to become that world champion. And it seems like he's got that chip, man, right here on the shoulder. And I don't see it getting rounded off anytime soon, man. And that's good because that's what a champion needs, man. Or even a hungry young lion that's waiting to take the throne, and his opportunity is going to be Saturday. But man,
Yeah.
his opponent's no slouch, man.
Catterall comes to fight.
Catterall's a tough one, dude. I mean, that dude can fight.
Look at his victories. Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor. This guy is nothing that you can just overlook. So
Mm-mm.
for Arnold to welcome and say, let's do it. I mean, yeah. It's
But
hey,
that's what it takes. That's what it takes.
absolutely.
I know there's a lot of top politics in the boxing world for title shots and who gets it with the different
Yeah,
organizations and councils. But I truly believe if you keep stepping up to the plate like this and you're asking for certain fights and the governing bodies are acknowledging that, and you put on a show, it's got to happen sooner or later, man. But
I agree.
sometimes, man, I hope the old school era of dragging it out for 7 years is coming to an end, and you got
Yes,
somebody like Turkey Al Sheikh, who's throwing, a nice curve in some things and trying to get everything. Yeah, he's throwing some money out there,
Aaron
and
Hernandez. Yeah,
yeah, he's trying to get these guys to. It's like like he's got so much money, he can literally just say, "Hey, listen, I want to see you fight him, and this is what I'm going to pay you to do it." And it's crazy, man, but it seems to be happening. But you know what? He's got a little curse going on, man. Almost like everybody that he's brought on in, the big names and the guys that he wanted, they're getting knocked out. It's happened to a lot of them already.
that's
And
the Eddie Hearn curse. That's the Eddie Hearn curse going on right now.
it is, brother. It is, man. It is. But I
We
mean,
can't say Drake because we might get sued, So
no,
we'll say
yeah,
Eddie Hearn.
bro. God, they might not be like us, but it's okay. It's okay.
Oh
Man,
man, he went there. I got to give it to him. He went there on the Super Bowl.
he
He
did.
was teasing everybody, and he delivered like he needed to deliver, and it was entertainment.
It was a nice show. It was a nice show, man. I'm glad it went the way it went. It was. It was. I'm not a fan of either team, but I was entertained
Yeah,
by the game, man, and that's all I needed to be.
exactly, and I agree with you. I also want to give a shout out to Team Barboza, Arnold Barboza Senior. Uh, I had him on the show, and I was calling him Arnold, and it just didn't sound right. So I just started addressing him as Mr. Barboza because when I would talk to Arnold all the time, call him Arnold. But then his dad, that's Mr. Barboza,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I had
yeah.
asked,
Whatever makes it easier.
yeah, yeah, and just felt better out of respect. Yeah, just needed to be called Mr. Barboza. I asked him what he thought of Robert Garcia. He said, by hands down, excluding himself, the best trainer in the world. So another shout out,
Nice.
iron sharpens iron, greatness recognizes greatness. And somebody's doing something right. And it's like the sport of boxing. You got different trainers, and it all depends on whose time it is. Because everybody
True.
has their time, everybody has their moment. But the real ones, they continue to pop up. They continue to be brought up in the top 10 of all time with the Emmanuel Stewarts and the Freddie Roaches and we can name them all.
The Lou
And
Lou
hey,
Lou Duva. Let's get another
and
old
Lou
school guy out
Duva.
there. Lou
Yeah,
Duva, Ted
absolutely, Lou
Goosen,
Duva.
the Goosen brothers, Goosen
Yeah, there
Entertainment.
you
Man,
go, the
yeah.
Gusta brothers.
There's been a
Absolutely.
lot of them over the years,
Angelo
man.
Dundee.
Dundee's,
Come on, you can go on and give me
Eddie
props for, like,
Futch.
you got Buddy McGirt, who's a
Yep,
great trainer. Often gets overlooked. And I'll tell you another trainer that often gets overlooked. He just reunited with Andrew Ruiz Jr. is Miguel Robles. He's back
they
with the
went
team.
back. Yep,
Miguel Robles back
I
again.
saw that. I saw that. I'm happy for him, man. Sometimes one little incident can throw some things off, and
Yeah,
then there's a business side of it, and you get a little extra money involved. People get upset is easier at something, and I'm glad that he went back home, man. It was never broken. You know what I mean?
no,
The system
no,
wasn't broken, so I'm
no.
happy. I'm happy for him, man. I can't wait to see Ruiz get back in there also.
But I do want to tell you something about the way boxing is. Okay, Jose Ramirez has a manager.
Hmm.
That manager signs Arnold Barboza. So in doing so, Arnold Barboza thought, well, maybe that Ramirez Barboza fight would happen sooner. Now it should be easier. We have the same manager, and let's make this happen. Now we have the same promoter. Well, that fight didn't happen. Arnold decided to go separate ways from Jose Ramirez's manager. I don't know if it's me or I'm thinking about Don King, George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, but Arnold Barboza was given a purse. The purse was okay. That certain manager stepped in and said, look, I'm going to negotiate this for you. But when we do, I'm going to re-sign you. So not only did you defeat my fighter, I'm now your manager back again. But business is business.
Uh-huh.
He was able to get Arnold the purse that he deserves. So, hey, More power to you. The man has always knew his numbers, knows his insides as far as contracts. There's differences that go on, but no one never said he doesn't know how to negotiate. So I'm happy with Arnold. He got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. You beat one fighter and you go with the other fighter, but it's all business. You can't take that personal. And that's
No,
the big story of it.
it is.
I just
I
thought I had
was
to share that a little bit. Why, really? Because a lot of people are afraid to say that live in this area. Like maybe you'll
true.
be banned from Golden Boy show, or you can't interview as fighters no more, or maybe as fighters won't reach out to you anymore.
Yeah,
So
true. And I mean, this sport, it is what it is. We both know
yeah,
that. We've been around this thing for a while, and it sometimes, man, it's just it's. I was told once that you have to keep it business, because once it becomes personal, it's no longer business. And that makes
yeah,
a lot of sense. Because and sometimes it's hard. When you start doing certain things with certain people, it feels like almost like family. And it start,
yeah,
there is that business side to it, but you start to feel like
yeah.
family with them, and
I
then
agree.
boom, the business rug gets pulled out underneath you, and you're on your ass, and you feel burned. But I mean, Barbosa, I think, did what he thought was best for him, and that's collecting and what is earned.
He did the right thing. The guy negotiated, flipped his contract, and just got him his value and his worth. So why not? He showed himself faithful in that area. It took for me to show you exactly who I am. Had no hard feelings on either side, and they conducted business together. My goal was to let you know this sport, you can never count anybody out, and don't be surprised of who does what with who. And can't take it personal. It's all business, and that's
True,
100% proof of that.
true. I mean, speaking of the business side of it, I wanted to ask you about a week ago, how you felt when we started hearing the rumors of Canelo and Jake Paul, before he was supposed to fight Crawford, and then both fights got pulled out, and he signed a new deal, and now is fighting Marcus Skull, I believe is his name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean, what were your thoughts, man, when you started to hear the rumors of him and Jake
I,
signing
I
a
was
fight?
I was disappointed because I wanted all the answers to be answered. I wanted all the people who would always say Bud Crawford will walk all over Canelo. I wanted to let's find out together. I mean,
Hmm.
I think Bud can close the gap as far as his IQ, but you can't. Mass is mass on a fighter.
Yeah,
Strength is strength, you know. And hey, I just I see Canelo being victorious over Bud Crawford if he imposes his will. I can see Bud Crawford beating him by tricking everybody, even himself, and even everybody involved in this fight. I was disappointed because I wanted all those answers, those questions to be answered.
yeah,
Um, I think that Jake Paul, personally, I think that he's going to fight Canelo. I think there's just beef to build something up afterwards to, have an exhibition or something. There's too much money floating around. But I respect that Canelo said, "Hey, man, I don't need that right now. I'm focused on professional fights and guys that are trying to take my head off and me trying to take their head off, because that would not do anything leading up to a Bud Crawford fight,
true.
but set a man back. I mean, you put the weight on for cruiserweight and come all the way back down to 168. Canelo's not 25 anymore. There's going to be some
No,
wear and tear on that, and that wouldn't be healthy for him, longevity. And yeah, that's my take on that.
I agree, man. I agree. When I first saw it, I thought to myself, "Oh no, man, no, come on, Canelo, not right now, not right now."
Yeah,
Then I saw the package deal that was supposed to happen between Bud afterwards, and I'm just thinking to myself the same thing. You is like, this is it's the value in it is the financial value.
yeah,
Besides that, there's no boxing value to him fighting that guy, and I still do want to see the Crawford fight.
yeah,
I still do. I think that would be a very interesting matchup. But I think as you said, I think once Canelo starts to wear on him and pound on his arms, shoulder, chest, body, head, it gets wearing, and the risks that Bud is going to have to take, because Canelo's IQ is pretty damn high, man, and he'll draw you in thinking that you're gonna be able to get some shots off, and then boom, you get
Yeah.
caught by him. So I'm interested to see, man. But I don't know what deals or who. I don't even. I mean, we don't know anything about this contract. We don't even know
No.
anything about what he's got going on. So
No.
I'm curious to see how it's going to develop out. But the
As
skull
long as
fight,
there ain't no, as long as there is no clause, as far as your weight, you know what you signed up for. Don't be asking a man not to gain this much weight or whatever. You came up to his division, you followed those rules in that division.
Yes, sir.
So
I
that's what I
agree.
think. You
I
came
agree,
up,
man.
so now you're with the big boys.
Yeah, it's time to fight. It's time to fight. You're getting a big
Absolutely.
enough bag. You're getting a big nice bag of money
Exactly.
out of it. So you might as well do what you got to do, man. Bite down and
Exactly.
fight.
Exactly. And that's why I'm so excited. I want to take it back to March 8th, man. I mean, these guys, it's going to be a bloodbath, like you talked about. I talked to LeVar, and he was talking about, a doctor and about a doctor. And I said, LeVar, we got to get two doctors. He's two doctors. I go, because it may drag. Every guy's going to have to get stitched up. And the rules that can't hit that first bell unless the doctor's at ringside, cage side. Every
True.
man's going to get stitched up.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
they get taken to the hospital.
They might.
So,
I mean, that's what if they don't get stitched there, they're gonna have to go to the hospital. But
yeah.
you brought up a good
That
business.
ambulance ride is $500, bro. So
Minimum.
I'll catch an Uber.
Minimum, man. And
Yes.
I think you're right. I think there's going to be a lot of stitches, and you brought up a good point, man. Maybe having more than one is something that he needs to look into, because I didn't think about that one. I didn't think about that one, but this is going to be fun, man. These guys are going to come out here and just. We've all seen street fights.
Yeah.
We've all seen street fights, but to have a little more, of a guy who knows what they're doing, and fighting a little better with with some technique, it's interesting to see. The human jaw can only take so much, and
Pressure.
yeah, the lesser the glove, man, the bigger the impact. And this is bare knuckles, so that impact is 110% real.
I want to talk about some fighters that are on that card.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to see Billy Evangelista. Compete. He only knows one level, and it's all, and he brings it all. And then you talk to him, and he's such a gentleman. He's such nice. The conversations we have are very professional. But once that bell rings, and anything the man does, he's an animal in there.
man, me and Billy used to put in a lot of rounds of sparring, and he was bigger than me. He was a lot bigger than me, but we used to just sit there and just go, man. And the guy can fight. The guy can fight, man.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how it goes for him, how it goes for Cash. I've been looking up some of the guys and checking out their backgrounds, and majority of them come from mixed martial arts. Majority of these guys come from a mixed martial arts background. So I also heard that we got a couple of guys that have a personal beef that are going to be going at it. I can't remember. Brent, I think his name is Jeremy Titsworth, and I can't recall the other gentleman's name, but it's an old beef, man, that these guys have gone back for a while from, and we're going to get a chance to sit back and call it and watch it. So there's some competitive blood and apparently some bad blood. So it's going to be fun, man. I can't wait to see. Maybe I mean, hopefully everybody's okay, man. But I wouldn't be surprised if a tooth or two came our way.
Or yeah, definitely going to need some towels there. And there's nothing like a grudge match. There's nothing like some unfinished business, and no better way. And the opportunity that big dog bare knuckle boxing is giving you. They get a chance to handle their differences. They get a chance to show the world, hey, I'm still here. I can compete, and none of this nonsense outside on the streets or anything. We're going to take care of it like men and be gentlemen right after the show is over.
Yeah, I mean, best way, man. You earn $1. You earn $1 on top of squashing a beef, man. Best way to do it, and you don't get in trouble at the end of the day. It's not a bad thing, man. It's solving an old school beef in an old school way. You know what I mean? So I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I'm ready to see these guys squabble on up, and let's see some knuckles fly, because it's obviously it's not going to be some leather. Me and you are used to seeing some leather fly. But there's no leather in this one, my man. All we got is a little bit of tape around the wrist, and me and you are going to probably be looking at each other like, whoa, whoa, plenty of times that night, So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be a barn burner. There's a lot of action going on. Art Hernandez is another guy that's out of Fresno.
Mighty
That
Mouse.
no, his somebody that used to train with this Art Hernandez. He's Warhorse.
Okay.
Warhorse. He's fought plenty of times in Tachi and all around the valley, and he trains out of Halo.
Well,
And
it's in Porterville. It's in Porterville. Get Joe Soto out there.
man, I would love to see Joe go, man. But I know he's a dad and enjoying life right
Yeah,
now,
I know.
man. And
And Joe's a wizard on the ground. Leave him on the ground.
Oh,
Joe's a wizard on the ground.
yeah, Joe's an awesome human being, man. I always had good times with that guy.
Yeah.
Always had good times with him. That's a name I haven't heard in a while, by the way.
Oh yeah, he almost shocked the world. I think Disney should have did a movie about him, honestly. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, he should have wrote a book. I didn't know who his publicist was or his manager, but I would have loved if someone would have been all over that. But you know what? It's still not too late. It's still not too late for that to happen.
Oh no.
A lot of people
If
don't
his
know.
heart's beat,
He was supposed to be not even on the prelims, not even on TV. Just his making his debut in the UFC. Gets a call and says, "Can you lose 2 pounds? And are you willing to fight for what was it? The featherweight championship of the world, I believe it was."
yes, sir.
And he
TJ
said, Richard, yes, he said, "Richard, I lost all that weight when I was running because I was crying. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what was about to take place." And he didn't bow down. He embraced it. He raised his hands as if to say, "Hey, I'm going to win this fight." And at one point, remember, Rudy, he was saying, "Come on, bring it."
Yeah, that was a good
Very
fight,
exciting.
man. Lord knows what it would have been if he would have had a 5-round, a full championship,
Training camp. Yes,
training
5-round
camp.
training
Yeah.
camp. Yep.
It's a world of difference, man. The speed and the pace of what you go a 3 compared to a 5, it's different, he used to come train with us, man, a lot. And I used to get a lot of good rounds in working with him and being around him. And like you said, man, once he got you to the ground, man, he was a wizard. Him and Cole, man.
Yeah.
Him and Cole were 2 of the OG guys that were just,
Yes.
yeah, man, that were just something that was above the rest in the valley, and that's why those guys got to where they got to, man.
Exactly. And I remember Cole telling me different times. He said, "Richard, I sometimes I had to act as my own manager. I called these guys out and they gave me what I asked for, so I had to back it up." And he pulled a couple of upsets and he got that contract he wanted with UFC. It wasn't done the easy way and it wasn't done pretty. He said, "Richard, but it got done."
No,
And,
man.
now he's Officer Cole Escovedo.
Now, Officer Escovedo, that's right. That's right, man. Shout out to Cole, man. How long has he been doing that now? A couple of years now, huh?
Yeah. I saw him the last time he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in Tachi Palace, and well deserved. And yeah, he's living life. He's still in the martial arts as far as mentally, wants to train the officers and reinvent himself now on the other side of the tracks.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cole Escovedo, man, and for doing his thing, and that's once again, man, that was a pioneer of the valley. We had guys
Absolutely.
like him,
The
Joe
Poppies.
Soto, Poppies Martinez, Phil Collins, all these guys, man, that were OG guys. And LeVar Johnson is definitely, one of them. Billy's another one.
Yeah.
Isaac De Jesus. The list goes on and on and on,
Isaac
man.
De Jesus, yes.
Yeah,
That
so,
guy's a competitor, man.
yeah, he was. And I believe he might be competing.
Going to Frosto, what's up with Dara?
I think he might be doing the bare knuckles soon, man.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
I could be
go.
wrong. But I believe he might be looking to be on the next card, man. So, hopefully we might be able to see him one day.
I was going to slide in Regis Prograis, and I was going to surprise you because he recently said a couple of times when he was close to retirement, or I thought he was, and then decided to take this fight on and says, "Rich, I'm going to do bare knuckle now. I'm going to do it for a couple years, couple fights, and try to slide him down here. Maybe he can make an appearance one down here." And it just kind of would have went with the theme. But he said, "Richard, I'm keeping it." He goes, "Tomorrow I got yoga, so I won't be available. Today I'll do it, but I'm driving from Houston to New Orleans. Let's do it in the car." And I normally would. But the GOAT himself, Mark Kriegel from ESPN, he said, "Richard, no more car interviews." Bro, he called me on a Sunday just to scold me and said, "Look, no more car interviews." So, hey, man, when somebody's willing to reach out to you and give you their intel, shout out to Bernardo Osuna too, a great friend. And you're going to listen, Rudy. It's not like everybody's knocking on my door saying, "Richard, do it this way, do it that way." And so definitely, and no harm, no foul. Because when you're in a car, I don't want you crashing because you're in the car. being on the podcast. So,
True.
and
True.
also let's show some professionalism too. And Mark Krieger was right.
And you could reach an area where it gets super choppy, and the internet is not your friend, and
Absolutely.
it's just like you said, it's just not the safest at the same time.
No, it's not. But I tell you who is my friend, and that's UFC veteran Big LeVar Johnson is going down in Porterville, California. You got to get your tickets now. Tickets are selling. Rudy, I already know what's going to happen. No one's buying tickets like right now. I'm going to go buy a ticket. And then all of a sudden they want to buy tickets because it's going to sell out. This event will sell out. Eagle Mount Casino. Big dog bare knuckle boxing. You got to be there. Don't say, oh, how was the fights? No, brother, you got to get down there. Make that sacrifice. Only from Madera. It's about maybe a solid hour drive. The casino's beautiful. And you know what? A lot of people are going to want to go there and they're going to want to party, Rudy. So you better get your hotel right now. Book your rooms right now. Because I'm telling you, this event is going to sell out. Tomorrow, we got a Billy Evangelista on the show. We got JC Al Lomas on the show. So,
Nice.
Rudy, if you're available, I know you're going to make time. We're going to get back and crush this again. We're going to talk more about that fight. We're going to promote that fight. And it's just around the corner. March 8th is around the corner, bro.
March 8th is just, 24 days away, I believe now.
That's it, man. That's it.
24 days away.
These guys already have their fight face because Billy's like, hey, bro, I'm training. Here's my schedule. And I'm like, what the? They all have crazy schedules. JC, the same. They got crazy schedules right now because when they're waking up, they have that Kobe Bryant mentality. Wake up in the morning, train, rest, go back to training, rest. They're not just saying, hey, I'm going to make an appearance, get a little payday. Rudy, they're taking this matchup very, very serious, and I respect it.
Hey, you better prepare, man. You got to bring your tools to the job site. And the only way to make sure you don't forget is to get out there and put your miles in. And at the same time, man, when you put the work in, you go in there with a little more confidence. Your body's solid, your chin is solid, your hands are solid. You're going in there built for the battle for the night. And once again, man, I can't wait to see the battle. These guys that you've been mentioning, man, they're all big guys. Brandon Cash is another one, man, and he's got some heavy hands. I know out of experience, from working with him.
Been in a lot of wars. And been in big fights in a lot of wars. Been in big events, national TV events.
These heavyweights, man, they don't need to hit each other very often before somebody goes to sleep. So, I believe.
I'm curious right now, Rudy. I'm curious right now. I mean, let's give the matchmaker some props. I don't even know who he is and going into this promotion, but he got some names right here. And I'm looking forward to
this great matchmaking, man. Great matchmaking. And I'm the type of guy, man, that if I see two insects going at it, I'm going to stop and watch. You know what I mean? If it looks like I see a praying mantis and a black widow going at it, I'm entertained by it. So I can't wait to be entertained by these pugilists going in here and letting their bare knuckles fly, man. Once again, big dog bare knuckle boxing is coming to Eagle Mountain Casino March 8th. Everybody, grab your tickets, man. Like you said, it's gonna sell out. You don't want to be asking a friend, Brand. You want to be telling a friend. So make sure that you get your asses down there and buy some tickets and support, man. LeVar's a great human being. And he's trying to bring something new to the Valley, and I'm very appreciative of it, and very appreciative to be a part of it, and also to be working with you. So let's go out here, man, and call some fights and have some fun, and see where the night, and maybe these events you catch on, man, and we can keep on going. That's why we need everybody to get out here and support and buy some tickets, so we can see more of these things because they're gonna grow. It's gonna get bigger and better. The only way we can do it is by having some support from the Valley.
Absolutely. We need the Valley support. It's the fans. This fight is for the fans. I mean, you hear, hey, when are we going to have professional fights in this area again? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's right here in your backyard, Porterville, California, Eagle Mount Casino, big dog bare knuckle boxing. It's going to be a fan favorite. It's going to be excitement. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be muddy. It's going to be ugly. So buy a ticket for yourself and your buddy.
Let's go get it, man. These fights are going to be nasty, man. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see the first few, chingazos start to fly in the air, man. And for those who don't know chingazos, just get a few of these going. And once they start flying, man, the emotions go right there with it. I'm excited and I can't wait. Once again, everybody, March 8th, Porterville, California, Eagle Mountain Casino. Go buy your tickets, man. I'm pretty sure if you go to Bare Knuckle Boxing, LeVar, Big Dog Bare Knuckle Boxing, at his internet, handle, you can there's pretty much a link there and you can go get your tickets and find your way to get yourself on over there, man.
Yeah, and get them, and don't wait to for them to have them sold out, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And the Fighter's Voice is going to be giving out 2 pair of tickets next week. So I'm not sure what the rules are, or what LeVar wants to do to enhance those tickets being given away. But hey, so just stay close to the Fighter's Voice, Big Dog Bare Knuckle Boxing, Big LeVar Johnson. Reach out to Rudy Cruz Jr. We'll have more information as we move forward. And I want to thank our guest, Rudy Cruz Jr., who's being very humble as all. And, I didn't even get a chance to read his resume. Who's worked with the heavyweight champion of the world, the Daniel Cormier's, the Habibs, the Canes of the world, the big LeVar Johnsons of the world. And a lot of his pupils will be on this card. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get your tickets. And and also follow Big Dog Bare Knuckle. They're on Instagram. They just opened up right now. You'll get all the information you want there. Reach out to LeVar Johnson. And as I get this information, reach out to the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. I'll have that information for you. And those of you who have not signed up for our YouTube channel, please subscribe. www.youtube.com/The Fighter's Voice. Remember, Rudy, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.